I'm excited today because we've got Lissette here, who is the new proud owner of a pool that actually has water in it. You've been waiting for how doggone long? I feel like it's been 3 years.
Almost 11 months. 11 months.
11 months. Guys, I'll tell you too, for those of you who are not in the pool market, pools are tough lately. Good, reputable pool companies are almost a year out. They are months out right now. And that's when they start, right? Then it still takes some time. If you're working with a reputable company and they say they're going to get done on this date, they'll get done on that date. If you're not, it might extend, right? So really look up those Google reviews. But holy smokes, when I saw that pool, because we talk about this sucker every time I see you. When I saw that pool up in your stories, I was like, oh, we finally got a pool, man. That's pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah, margaritas coming soon.
Margaritas. I'm holding you to it, bud. All right. Sure. So today we got a cool topic. We're talking about COVID forbearance, which is a big thing right now. And we're going to talk about how big of a thing it is and that actually possibly moving into foreclosure, right? How do we avoid that? So Lissette, I'm going to let you kick it off. This was your idea of a topic. I thought it was a phenomenal topic. So let's get into it. Tell me what you know.
Okay, so yeah, I am coming across sellers right now that are still in the process of forbearance. So I am stressing to them the urgency to keep communication with your bank and try to find a solution. So there could be a number of paths that you might want to take if you find yourself in this circumstance. One is communicate with your bank. Right now, the foreclosure forgiveness or forbearance, it's still extended through June 30th of this year. So you still have a little bit of time to work with that, but communicate with them what the next step would be. Will it be a loan modification? Are you looking at a short sale situation? Or is listing the property your best option? Many people have equity still in their properties. So if you list your property for sale, you may cut it close or even walk away with a profit.
Awesome. Before we even get into a lot of that stuff, I want to go back, and some of these people might not fully understand what forbearance and foreclosure are, right? So getting to layman's terms, really easy stuff. Foreclosure means the bank has started going through the process of taking your home from you, right? You're not making enough payments. Even if you're one payment behind, but you're making other payments, they can start the foreclosure process. It does take time. There's a very, very detailed, specific legal process that they have to go through. But the end result, if you don't make the payments, is they take your house, right? That sucks. Nobody wants that. So right now when COVID hit, a lot of people are having financial issues making those payments. And guys, there's also a moratorium on making your rental, not on making your rental payments. You have to make your rental payments, but if you don't make your rental payment and I'm your landlord, I can't kick you out. Can I ding your credit? Oh yeah, I can mess up your credit. It's going to hurt when you get out of there. Can I give you a bad review when your next landlord calls me and says, hey, did they make their payments? Nope, they didn't make their payments. Yep, I can do that too, right? So it's going to hurt you. But while you're in my place, I can't kick you out. So we're having a lot of landlords too, great people who are only making $40, $50, $60, $70,000 a year. These are normal average people. And these people took a risk to purchase a home, an investment, and they're not getting payment. If they're not getting payment, they have to pay their house payment and that payment. Maybe they got two of these suckers. That's a challenge, right? So we've got these different issues. So what's forbearance? Forbearance is me calling up the bank and saying, I can't make my payment. Can you put me in forbearance? Which is, there's a different program with every single bank, right? Forbearance might mean you don't make any payments. It might mean you make partial payments. It might mean you don't make payments and we put the payments at the end. It can mean a million different things. But really, Lissette, you made a phenomenal point. The best thing you can do, which is the thing that most people don't do because it's embarrassing. It's tough. It's time consuming. Nobody knows to do it or how to do it. And honestly, I think embarrassment plays the biggest role in it, right? Is call the bank. And just ask them, guys, this is my problem. They've got a department set up for this. They're talking to people like you every single day. They're trained on this. And remember, if Joe Rosen, if Lissette Hurtado works at the bank and we work in that department, we don't care that you're not paying the bank. We're literally just having a conversation with you on what it is our policies and procedures are to get you on some sort of program so that everybody's happy. We're not putting you into foreclosure, but you are also doing something that makes us happy, right? So that's forbearance. It's different with every single bank, but the big thing is just to communicate. Lissette, what else you got?
Oh, most definitely. And then just going back to talk to your realtor and find out and take a look at the comps around your neighborhood and what properties like yours are going for and see what you owe on that loan. And it may be your best option to list the properties. Properties are selling so quickly right now. Yeah. And with that allowance until June 30th, you have plenty of time to get your property listed, sold, and closed within that time period. So definitely act quickly and get in touch with your realtor, get in touch with your bank, and start the process now.
Awesome point. And, you know, I sold back in 2007, 2008, 2009. It sucked. It was not fun coming into those listing appointments. We all love listing appointments. Now it's fun. You're telling people they're going to walk away with 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand. That is a lot of fun. But 07 to 09 was not fun, because you would go in and people would tell you that they owe 350 on a home that is now worth 330. Oh, by the way, you still haven't paid all the fees. How the heck are we going to do this, right? So you're starting to talk about short sales and everything else. Guys, short sales do still happen. And I'm not going to get too deep on the process that entails, but I will tell you, in this market, a lot of people have equity, right? The response I'm getting a lot of times is, Joe, I've got this forbearance situation. Why would I do that? Why would I get out of this nice, beautiful, comfortable home when I can just sit here and I'm in forbearance? Because, guys, it's only been extended to June 30th. And June 30th is coming up quick. That's roughly 10 weeks away. When it comes, you are in a tough situation, right? Really think this out. Really position yourself well. If you can get out of your house, get some cash in your pocket, you might be able to go get a smaller, cheaper home you can afford. You might be able to rent. You might be able to go back and live with your parents, with your friends, whatever. You can do a lot of things that set you up financially for the future. Is it going to suck short term? Yeah, but that's only a couple months, man. So really think about that plan. Get someone like Lissette or myself in there to have this discussion with you. It's not a sales pitch. It's really just setting you up for success. If that's you staying in the home and us working with you to get in touch with the bank to build that forbearance plan, awesome. If it's you selling, taking that money and doing something more intelligent, awesome. I do want to throw out a few stats here, because this stuff does sound scary, right? So a lot of you, if you're in this situation where you're having a tough time paying, maybe you're in a forbearance program, maybe you didn't know about it, but you're hearing this and you're like, ooh, I like that. I need to call my bank, call Joe, call Lissette, whatever. Awesome. But some of you guys are thinking, I'm doing just fine in this rental. I was going to buy, but I don't know if I want to buy right now. This sounds kind of scary, man. Is this going to hit the market? Is the market going to be negative? Is it going to go down? Is it going to drop? Before I give you these numbers, I'm going to tell you, Lissette and I can tell you what we think all day long, but neither one of us nor anyone else knows what's going to happen, right? It's really tough. Nobody's got a crystal ball. But here are the numbers. So when you hear this number, it sounds scary. 2.6 million people are in a forbearance program with their bank, right? That sounds pretty scary. But if you look at these two numbers, it's down $135,000 in the last dollars, 135,000 people in the last 30 days, right? It was 2.735. Now it's 2.6. That feels pretty good, right? 90.7% of homeowners are caught up on their mortgage payments. That's the overwhelming majority. And I'll tell you right now, we could honestly double or triple the inventory that we have on the market right now. And it would still, maybe at worst, be a neutral market. It still would not be a buyer's market. So it would take a lot of inventory for this to massively change and impact, not just plateauing the market off, but where you're going to see a dip, right? I've been getting this question a lot lately too. Joe, why not just wait? I'm having a tough time as a buyer. I've put in 10 offers. I've come in 5-10 grand over every single time, but I'm just not winning the deal. Why not just wait until the market drops? Well, here's the deal. In the last 70 years, the market has dropped at least 10% once, right? So has it dipped 1%, 2%, 3%? Yes. But are you telling me, because I'm not telling you this, and I'm the pro, I'm the expert doing this every single day, I can't time the market like that. There's no way I can time the market like that, right? I've got my kids. I got my networking group. I got my wife. I got Lissette. I got my team. I got this show. I got a million things. The last thing I'm paying attention to is that. And I'm the pro. So it's going to be really challenging if you get that 2-3% dip to pinpoint when that bottom is, and it's going to come back up. And the odds that it's going to come down, 10% where you're seeing enough to where it would make sense to wait is really, really slim. Like I said, in the last 70 years, it happened once. Lissette, I love the point you made about the extension to June 30th. Guys, we don't know if it's going to get extended again. It has been extended. If I had to guess based on the past and who we've got in the office right now, I would assume that it's going to be extended, but at some point, they're going to have to start tapering this off. Again, this is a guess. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't think they're just going to stop it one day. I think one day they're going to say, Now we're kind of doing this, which is a little bit less help. Then we're doing this, which is a little bit less help. And eventually they're going to taper it off, right? That's my best guess, but I don't know that. And I'm going to end with this stat. And then Lissette, I'm going to let you finish it off with something that blows my mind. I don't know what it is, but I'm excited. Yeah, you better get it going here. 13.5 million renters are behind as well, right? That's roughly 1 in 5 renters who are also behind. Guys, what we're seeing is when COVID hit, those numbers of people missing their payments, whether it's a renter or somebody who has a mortgage, skyrocketed, went way up. But experts believe, because we're starting to see these numbers come down as we get closer to the date when this is going to end. And every time right before they extend that date, we see it going down, 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 down. They extend it, whoop, goes up a little bit, right? So what experts are thinking, and I believe this too, is that people are trying to keep money in their pockets. Mm-hmm. They're willing to let their credit go, which is going to hurt in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's going to hurt, but they're able to keep a little bit added cash in their pocket. But they do have the ability, when it finally does end, which it will, like all good things do, you're going to see that these people make their payments because they do not want to lose their rental or their house, right? So my fear is very low that we're actually going to see a mass amount of short sales and foreclosures like we did back in 2007 to 2009, maybe even 2010. I do think we're going to have a few of them come on, but like I said, we could triple our inventory. It's still a neutral market, so I'm not really concerned about that. Lissette, take us home.
So just to end it, guys, I know this process can be stressful and very emotional. So just taking the first step is picking up the phone and calling the bank, and then get with your realtor. The second you start doing something about it, you start seeing the path to a solution, and it won't be so overwhelming. So just get started and start thinking of what's the best option for you.
Hey, we got one really good question here, so I'm gonna throw it up here. We are thinking about putting our house on the market. Should we be planning on looking for something under our budget because we have to offer 5 to 10 grand more than the asking price? Is this for every property? So I'll say this, and Lissette, I'll let you chime in too at the end here. Let me take this line by line. Should we be planning on looking for something under our budget? I assume you're talking about on the buy side, right? After you sell. Listen, you got to buy and you got to sell. You're going to rock it on the sell side. I don't know if you live in South Florida here or not, but you're going to rock it on the sell side in just about every market throughout the U.S. right now. Don't get too excited because you've got to go buy, right? So you're going to get taken advantage of on that side. It just happens, right? That is the market. And it doesn't matter. In a bad market, people cry about selling, but then they get to buy at a great price. So it all evens out as long as you're roughly in the same price range, right? When it comes to your budget, it really depends. If you've got a lot of padding, you've got some money in the bank, you've got good income, you don't have a lot of debt, go buy a nice house. I just went pending on a home 2.5 weeks ago. I paid probably 25. Well, I did. They were asking 370. I offered them 395, and I guaranteed $25,000 in a short appraisal, which means if it appraises for as low as 370, I'm coming up with an additional 25 grand in cash to cover it, knowing that I'm potentially overpaying. But I'm also thinking I'm going to stay in that house at least 12, 15, 20 years. So I don't really care, right? If you're thinking I might stay there for 2, 3, 4 years, completely different. You're taking a lot bigger risk, especially in a market like this, right? Is this for every property? I assume here you're asking, is the market hot for every property? The market is hot for every property. I'll tell you this too. If you're coming in and you're offering less than asking price, your odds of getting an offer accepted are incredibly low. I got a good friend of mine. He literally sent me a list of 8 properties. He wanted me to reach out and say, hey, we'll give you full asking. We'll close whenever you want in the next 90 days, whether it's in 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, whatever. And we're not asking for anything more than you're giving. And we got a 7-day inspection. You know how many got accepted? Guess, Lissette.
How many?
Zero.
Wow.
People said that I should write that offer up. None of them. Wow. You have to come in over asking price right now to get almost any decent home offer accepted, right? The ones who are accepting something like that are the homes that have been on for a while. There's a lot of issues with it. They're overpriced already. What's the difference if you're buying a home that's wonderfully priced and paying 20 grand over, or a home that's 20 grand over and you're paying full price only? either way, you're paying over, right? So really for me, you can try to come in 5-10 grand under. If you're talking about your budget, my personal opinion is that it's, 5-10 grand really isn't going to make or break anybody's budget, right? But when it comes to negotiations, you need to get a good, aggressive, intelligent agent who's doing 2, 3, 4, 5 deals every single month, knows the market, knows the trends, before you're putting in an intelligent offer that has a good shot at getting accepted. Lissette, what do you think?
Oh, no, most definitely. I had that conversation with a buyer recently, and actually we're looking for properties a little bit under his budget so we could have that cushion to make the difference with the offer, and also knowing that he has the cash to make up the difference for that appraisal also. So it's definitely something that I am suggesting to all my buyers right now. Let's look slightly under, unless you really do have the cash in the bank to cover the difference to go $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 over the asking price.
Yeah. Lissette, we're going to get extended here a little bit. I want to make sure we answer the question. So she did a follow-up. She said, is it better to build then? Let me give you the pros and cons of building, right? There's two different types. If you're looking for new construction, but it's already started the build process, here's some of the pros. It's new. It's got a 10-2-1 warranty like every other builder has, but you still have to negotiate on those. I've had 2 in the last couple of months where I've given them a full price offer and they came back and said, we're raising our price 20, 25 grand. And I'm like, we just gave you a full price offer. That's what it said. Do you have another offer? No, we just don't want to sell it at that price because the market's gone up. So that's challenging right now. If you're talking about starting from scratch, where you're going to go and you either own a lot or you're going to find a lot and then you're going to build on it, there are pros and cons to that. Let's talk about the cons first, because I like to end with a positive, right? One con is just about every builder right now is taking 10 to 12 months for a build. So you got to have a plan. The nice thing about that is when build times are 8-9 months, if you're going to rent, most people want to do a 12-month. It's really challenging to find an 8 to 9 month rental contract because they're taking 10 to 12 months right now. It's a lot easier. You're not going to lose all that extra rent payment because you have to promise a 12-month period, right? So that's the first issue that you have to deal with. The second issue you have to deal with is cash. So when you're coming in and you're going to buy a lot, you're either going to buy that lot with cash, or most lenders are going to want you to put 35% or more down, depending upon the product you're looking at, right? So depending upon the lender you're working with and the product that you're working with, they're going to want a minimum of 35% down plus closing costs. And then when it comes to the actual build, depending upon how you're doing it, it's going to be 5 to 10% down plus closing costs. If you go with the 5, the terms are not as good and your closing costs are going to be higher. If you go with the 10, yeah, the terms are better. The closing costs are a little bit lower, but now you got to come up with more cash out of pocket, right? So it's a little bit more cash heavy than if you go with a traditional VA or an FHA option with a pre-built, right? The plus, costs are really not that much more expensive. I've got a phenomenal builder I work with, Grand Construction, and I think they've got 18, 19 different floor plans. I priced them out, and there were a handful of them that on average were selling for lower prices than the average square foot price in Port St. Lucie on a pre-existing home. So right now, but I don't think this is going to last long because the price of materials are going up, right? Right now, there are a lot of builders who will build at or below the average price. And even if it's a little bit more, man, for being new and you get the 10-2-1 warranty and you get to be picky and you get to customize and you get to pick your paint colors and you get to pick your location, it's awesome. But remember too, lots have gone from when COVID started, lots were in that 30 to 40 range for a normal lot in Port St. Lucie. Now they start at about $75,000, $80,000, right? For a normal lot, an interior lot, in an okay area. If you want a reserve lot, if you want a lot that's got a canal on it, if you want a corner lot, a lot with a little bit more than a quarter acre, you're easily into the 6 figures now. So realize that too. Lissette, what are your thoughts?
I'm a huge fan of new construction, but I do want to say one of my biggest frustrations is when I take buyers out to certain builders, not all, and mostly in gated communities. You see these properties a certain way, and that's not the floor plan. A lot of times even walls are not included. So when you sit down with these builders, the add-ons that you have to go for the upgrades, for just removing a wall or placing a wall where it's supposed to go, it adds up very quickly. So you really have to look at your budget and see where that allowance is. And maybe new construction is not the best option if you're looking for all those upgrades in a certain floor plan. You may find it in resale already on the market. But the pro of new construction, you do get the property the way you want it, where you want it. You might have to wait for it, but you're getting a brand new home. So like always, pros and cons.
Yeah, and just one last pitch on realtors. Obviously, I'm a realtor. I'm an advocate of realtors. This conversation, I mean, it's so different, right? If I talk to Lissette about what she wants to do versus me and my wife, what I want to do versus you, Karen, and what it is that you want to do, it's so different from person to person. So the outcome, what I would do, right? The path I would take to get there would be so different. So really, I hope we throw out some great and helpful information here, but really I would push you to go find a realtor who's going to have these great, helpful, deep conversations with you. They're going to push a little bit, right? They're not so concerned about saying the right thing. They're going to say the thing that actually matters to you, but I would really have that conversation with them. Lissette, I appreciate you coming on with me. This is a great conversation.
Yeah.
I really appreciate all the questions that we got. A lot of great comments here on Facebook, but thank you so much and have a phenomenal day.
Thanks, Joe. Have a great day, guys.